All right. We're back here at Radio Row today. I'm joined by quarterback Ryan Leaf. Ryan, welcome to the grittiest sports podcast on both sides of the Mississippi. Happy to have you here today.
Bring the juice. What's that imply? What does that mean?
Bring the juice is waking up every day with the same intensity, no matter whether you're feeling a little sleepy or you're fired up, to chase greatness. Be the best version of yourself you could be every single day, and you don't have a choice because you got to provide for your family. You got to get better at your craft, whatever it might be. You got to get your piss hot and bring the juice, baby.
That's me, man. That's all day. My wife seems to think it can't happen until she has her coffee.
Okay.
And I don't buy that one bit.
I didn't start drinking coffee. I had my first son 3 months ago. I had my first cup of coffee, and I'll tell you right now, I'm fruity a little bit for it. It's iced. My wife puts a little caramel in it. I'm like, this tastes like crap, man. But
I've never had a cup of coffee in my life.
I've probably under 20.
Yeah.
But those first couple of weeks got a little rough, and
I got a 14-month-old, man. Like,
so you're going through it too.
But I don't drink coffee, man. I just go. Like,
Ryan Leaf's got more juice than me. It sounds like.
These trips are very good. I went to bed at 8:00 last night. Got my 10 hours.
Feeling good.
Oh, let's go.
Did your push-ups?
Yep.
You got the juice, baby.
Yep.
Let's get it.
Yep.
Ryan, one thing before. So I'm a Fresno State man. I played ball there. I know you're a Washington State man. Let's just talk Pac-12 real quick. What's your take? Is the Pac-12 going to make it out?
Oh, yeah. I mean, what they were able to do this last year, I think, is amazing. And just wait till you see. I've had a couple looks what some of these numbers have been for what the media rights deal is going to be.
Right.
I think a lot of people are going to be surprised how much brand awareness the Pac-12 still has and the fact that they held on to it. I don't think for a second Washington State or Oregon State were ever even considering going to the Big 12 or the ACC or anything after the fact, after they got left. I think Teresa Gould, the Pac-12 commissioner, was just all in on what this brand can do if they build the conference back up the way they wanted to.
Totally
bringing
agree.
Boise along,
Nice.
bringing Gonzaga through the basketball aspect of things.
Huge.
I mean, it's going to be a really talented basketball conference, and football-wise, it's going to be incredibly competitive. And so we should be hearing those negotiation numbers here really soon, and I think that's going to go a long, long ways.
It's a hot take, but I definitely would love to see Stanford and Cal come back. I just feel like there's such – obviously you could say the same thing about UCLA and USC being blue bloods of the original pack, but – they seem like that their ship has sailed for the most part. Stanford and Cal would bring a nice element of just it feels like home almost.
It would. They just can't. You know,
Yeah.
They're
in it.
They are so behind the eight ball in terms of money now because of the ACC deal. That they just, you know, it is what it is. The good thing about it, you know, I do think there's going to be another realignment. I think that ultimately there's a college or a national collegiate football league.
Right.
And you know, Stanford and Cal aren't going to be able to afford that.
No.
There's going to be a lot of those Pac-12 teams that left that won't be able to afford it, and they're going to be coming back. And, you know, ironically enough, Washington State and Oregon State, they could be a little petty and decide who they allow back into the conference.
Rightfully so,
Yeah.
right? Finishing up your college career, leading up to the draft. I asked this because I got a brother who's in this process right now. Where was your head at? Obviously, you and Peyton Manning were the top of that class. Was it what's going to happen? Tell me that process. I'm interested.
It's a different process than anybody else gets to go through because Peyton and I knew where we were going.
Right.
You know, we were either going to be the first or second pick in the draft. I mean, that's really rare.
Right.
And we did. So we could kind of control what we did. We didn't work out at the combine at all.
Right.
You know, we had our own private workout back at our universities with our receivers. The familiarity of everything really allowed for us to be really good in those moments. And then, you know, for us, it was just really getting ready, you know, for the big day. We knew where it was going to be. And that's like I said, that is just rare. You have no idea where you're going to go. We did. We most likely knew I was going to San Diego and he was going to Indianapolis. Got a little touch and go there when Jim Irsay was still kind of toying around with the idea of drafting me, and we were just like, I don't know if we want that, you know. I wasn't thinking about the right things.
Right.
I wasn't thinking about the fact that they had Marshall Faulk and Marvin Harrison at the time. I was thinking about like the beach and the babes and the money and like
San Diego,
it's just
man.
football. Like I can go play football. That's what I've been doing for 21 years, you know. You know, I need the extracurricular activities that need to be on point too,
Naturally.
right? Yeah.
Did you and Peyton have a pretty good relationship throughout that process where you guys got to talk it out? And I mean, I'd imagine, like you said, that it's not like it's a group message. It's a back and forth.
I mean, it's him and I have known each other since we were 19 years old, and you know, we're still close. You know, he wrote to me while I was in prison. I went to his induction to the Hall of Fame.
That's awesome.
You know, a lot of people ask me, why are you going? And I'm like, there's like 370 guys ever to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Right.
Like, you know, this isn't like a you know, Taylor Swift concert or something like that. Like, nobody goes into this thing.
Yeah.
I want to go watch and celebrate this.
Of course.
Because I tried to do what he did.
Right.
And I couldn't do it. And there's a lot of people who can't do it. And so I went and celebrated that, and with him and his family. And so yeah, I've been really, and now we're all in the same spot.
Right.
Like, we're both 48. We got a boy and a girl for kids. We both own our own production companies. We do a ton of philanthropy. We're broadcasters.
Right.
So, I mean, you know.
Life comes full circle almost.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
awesome.
we're right where we wanted to be eventually, you know. He had a Pro Football Hall of Fame career. I didn't.
Yeah. What about, but let's not act like you didn't have any career, though. Well, tell me about your highest high and your lowest low of your football career.
Highest high, Apple Cup. Washington State, Washington.
Great rivalry.
At their house. We win it. We go to the Rose Bowl. First time in 67 years. That's the high. The low, I think, is the, you know, of course, like the Kansas City game in my rookie year. I was in the hospital all week with a staph infection. And then I tried to play and had the worst game of my life. And it rained and it poured, and it's, you know, it's considered one of the worst games ever. But the worst part about it is how I dealt with it. Like, if I would have dealt with that in a healthy way,
right,
I think it's a much different NFL career for me. But because of how I dealt with it, like, my career was over after 3 games, and I won 2 of them.
Right. That whole situation has rolled into a journey that you're now at a certain point in your life. Out of everything you've been through, and you're here today, how are you waking up and chasing greatness?
I just want everybody to have what I have. And so I think that's what it does for me. I was so miserable. I was in such a place that I thought I would be better off if I wasn't alive. And I can't even imagine that was something I would even think about, you know? Every life is precious. And it's important that everybody knows that. So, yeah, my mission was, when I walked out of that prison cell, was to make it about other people. And as it turns out, when you make it about other people, your life gets better.
On Bring the Juice, as athletes, we've talked about, and Kobe used to reference this thing called the dark place. And I think it's relevant when you're an athlete, but especially now when you're outside of sports and you're trying to chase greatness, you do reflect on that dark place. In that dark place, you have to flip a switch. And you got to say, no one's feeling sorry for me anymore. No one gives a shit. I need to flip this switch and make a change right now. Do you remember the day you flipped a switch?
I don't think I think it just, I don't remember like a certain day, but when you're in it, you never know what's happening.
Right.
Right. It's a conscious shift. It's a 180-degree lifestyle change, but I do everything differently than I did before I walked into a prison cell.
Right.
I'm completely different. Every day is different. Like, you know, the food that goes into my body is different.
Of course.
You know, the way I talk to my kids is different than I would have probably if I had been a father before all this. Also, just the no suffering of fools mentality. Like, I've been right there, you know, where I was, you know, willing to take my own life. I mean, like, there's nothing that you can say or you can do at any moment that's going to bring me back to that place where I'm not an absolute utter success, you know. So so I don't suffer any fools anymore. I speak my mind, because I know we could lose everything and we'll be just fine.
Right. Do you have any tools in your toolbox that you still keep on you today that help you elevate each and every day?
I have my mugshot on my phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just as a reminder.
Just look at it. Yeah. It's a good, you know, cognitive behavior stopper. You know, once feelings that you're starting to have around resentment and things like that. So it's a quick reminder for me to just take a look at it like, oh yeah, I'm not going back there.
Right.
You know, and so I keep that on my phone.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good that's a switch. That's a good little.
That's a switch.
Yeah.
That's a switch.
Yeah.
All that behind. Today now, what's your main, business plan? Because you mentioned the company.
Yeah, the company's great. You know, the company started out as just kind of really an S corp, because I was speaking so much, and it's actually become a company. It's become a production company. It's become a consulting company. My wife is the COO.
Awesome.
She runs everything pretty much, you know, and I just go and do the work. I don't really think too much about it. You know, when people ask for me to be of service, I do it. You know, and that's what my sponsors always told me. Just when people ask you to be of service, do it. And that's kind of what the company's based in, is just we're going to be of service to anybody and everybody. Ironically enough, you know, I have to go to D.C. tomorrow. I'm getting an award for my work in mental health and substance use disorder.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so it's crazy that this is 10 years removed from me walking out of that prison cell. But a lot of people have carried me. You know, worked my tail off. You know, every single day. There's a conscious effort to be different and and to do something for somebody else. And so, this is pretty cool to be able to be here 10 years later and still doing it.
Well, we're happy to have you on Bring the Juice. Obviously, tip of the hat just to you to have the manhood and balls.
Do you do the show out of Fresno? Is that where you live? Where do you live?
Yeah, I'm out of Fresno, California. I farm onions full time. I played ball at Fresno State.
You know Guy Haberman?
I had Guy here last year. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, bro.
Guy and I did our show on Sirius XM for like 5 years together.
Guy's
Love that guy.
boy, man.
Yeah.
He calls Fresno State. My brothers play at Fresno State right now, so he's always hitting me up on what's the offense looking like tonight and stuff like that. So it's a good little battle.
Hey, shout out, Guy. You watching the Bring the Juice show? Yeah.
He taps in. He subscribes. He subscribes.
Good.
We check out that data. He locked in.
Yeah.
But hey,
I did his show earlier this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
He's a content machine. That guy.
It's all about the content, baby. Yeah. Got to get the clicks.
And his wife's like a world-renowned nutritionist.
I need some nutrition in my life.
Yeah. Well, she hooked me up, man.
I'll tell you what, we had some Cajun food yesterday. We're staying. We had with one of those Airbnbs that the pictures look really good.
But it's kind of a.
It's a little on the sketchy side of things.
Yeah.
Which I can hang.
Listen,
I can hang.
I'm staying in the Le Pavillon, which is an incredibly French Quarter hotel. Gorgeous. All these other things around it, and then you go in and the Wi-Fi don't work. The shower water's either scalding hot or cold.
Yeah.
The toilet seat won't stay up.
Ooh.
A light flickers in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So
I can't find the right temperature in mine, and our front door is to a busy street, and it doesn't quite lock.
But if you bring the juice in the morning, none of that matters.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
we invite people.
I can't control that stuff, right?
I know.
Can't control that stuff.
Gotta control the controllable.
Only 3 things I'm teaching my kid right now. Listen, people, you only can control your attitude, your behavior, and your effort. That's it. That's all.
Ryan, I appreciate you, man. Best of luck to you in the future.
What you doing? I love it.
Yeah. Snag a hat. Godspeed, brother.
Thank you.